Janine from Ring Hello here. I want to address the issue of feelings when you're on the phone. Yep, we're business people and this is going out in the corporate environment, but we're people. We're people who work. We have feelings, we have emotions. Yeah, I've done a psychology degree in the past too, so I'm starting to bring this forward into what I do now, especially with all the training that I'm doing with people to help them feel more confident on the phone. So here's a little story for you. I used to get a real fluttery feeling that, you know, that fear also can feel like excitement in the right environment, but that fear before I started a new campaign for a client. So whilst I had that going on in my body, my head then started to just get full of all this incessant internal dialogue and thoughts like, well, what if someone's rude to me and this client's relying on me to do a good job, and what if I say the wrong thing, and what if I don't know the answers to the questions? And this is kind of back in the day when I worked for somebody else and I had a script to follow. And that's changed now. So what I would do is make sure I understand fully what it is I'm talking about, what the aim of the campaign is. And if I'm asked a question I don't know the answer to, I simply say, I'm really sorry, I don't know the answer to that because it's my first day in the job. And people then drop their guard and they start going, oh, well, in which case you're doing really well. You just gotta let people know that you're a person and what, you know, you can, I'm not saying go into a massive dialogue about saying, oh, actually, I was feeling really nervous this morning about this. But you can say, I'm new here. This is my first day in the job. I'm still learning the answers to those questions. Thanks for raising that with me. I'll make sure I find out the answer so I know for future reference. But in the meantime, I'll get someone who does know the answer to call back. And it's just about learning on the job. We all do it. We all have to learn on the job and start somewhere. And what it does by sort of saying things like, oh, I'm new, is it helps people drop, as I say, they drop their guard and you can build a picture quickly of their language and what it is that matters to them and the kinds of questions you're going to be asked. So then you can use that in your sales points the next time you call. So we don't stick to scripts here at Ring Hello anyway. We have prompt sheets with the key questions we can ask and the key selling points and the benefits and all of that. But we're not robots. We're not going to hopefully ever be replaced by robots, because who's going to want to have a conversation with an automated voice? Let's face it, we all get fed up enough of it when we call our banks or any utilities companies or whatever. So we have to remember that how we feel when we're calling and speaking to people impacts upon what we say and how we come across, but that it's not something to fear. Don't be scared to feel your feelings. I know we've had it drummed into us that we're not allowed to feel anything and we're not allowed to show emotions and weakness at work, but do you know what? There are so many other people who are now having to look at how they take care of their employees' mental health, for example, because it's being more and more recognised that people are people and have these feelings. And the absolute best way you can engage with anybody on the phone is to just let those feelings show, but in a professional and subtle way. You don't have to go into a monologue about what's wrong and how you're feeling, but you use a bit of humour. If someone asks you something you don't know, say, oh, wow, that's a first, but then it is only my first day in the job. And I've said this to people when I've called for new clients. And then I've been offered 2 jobs by people that I phoned because of how good I sounded. So, there's always I've got a frog in my throat. Really bad time to have this. Perfect example, if that happens when you're on the call, just say, sorry, frog in my throat. Not what you need for a telemarketer or for someone making calls. Don't just put the phone down on them. You're a human. Things like this are going to happen. So the rest can all be overcome if you prepare properly and you know what you're talking about. You're always going to get asked something you don't know the answer to, but just, don't be afraid to feel what you feel and let it guide how you are on the phone to people. Fear isn't there to be beaten or ignored necessarily, because it will come knocking harder. Fear is there to say, okay, you're feeling a response to what you're having to do, and that can either make you react one of 2 ways. Try to use it to your advantage, but if you do get scared and you still can't face the thought of picking up the phone, then drop me an email and I will help you with your telephone confidence. I've done it for years, and I will do it in such a way that takes into account your personality and what matters to you. So email me at janine@ringhello.co.uk. Thanks, and I hope this has helped.